Create a 10 minutes video for YouTube about create a budget that actually works for you. So, you've made a budget before. You've probably made 10. You download the spreadsheet, fill in all the little boxes, and for the first week, you are a financial rock star, tracking every single penny. But then, life does what it does. You get a flat tire, work gets crazy, or a friend you haven't seen in ages wants to grab dinner, and you just can't say no. Suddenly, you're off track. The spreadsheet sits on your desktop, unopened and judging you, and you're left feeling more defeated and broke than when you started. For years, I was trapped in that exact same cycle of shame. I was convinced the problem was me, that I just wasn't disciplined enough to make a budget stick. But what if the problem isn't you? What if the very idea of a traditional, rigid budget is designed to fail? In this video, I'm going to show you the game-changing approach of starting your budget from zero each month. It's the method that finally gave me total control over my money, and I'll show you how it can do the same for you. Let's be real for a second. The way most of us were taught to budget is just broken. We're told to make a plan in January and then just magically stick to it for the next 12 months. This set it and forget it model is like trying to drive across the country using a map that only shows the interstate. It completely ignores all the detours and winding back roads that make up real life. Those detours are things like a friend's surprise party, a flat tire on a Tuesday morning, or a week where you're just burnt out and need takeout. A rigid annual plan has no room for this. It assumes your life is a straight, predictable line, but whose life is actually like that? Our lives are messy, unpredictable, and always changing. Traditional budgeting feels like a punishment. It's basically a financial crash diet, laser-focused on all the things you can't do. No more lattes, cancel Netflix, don't even think about eating out. Think about it. The first advice is always to cut small joys, like your morning latte. Suddenly, that simple ritual feels like a forbidden luxury. This creates a constant anxiety around money, framing your financial life as a battleground of deprivation. It treats spending money like it's a moral failing instead of what it is. A tool to build the life you actually want. And just like a crash diet, a crash budget is doomed from the start. You might hang on for a few weeks with sheer willpower, but eventually you'll crack. This willpower-only approach is fragile. Imagine, you've been perfect for weeks. Then a friend needs you, and you go out for dinner. The moment the bill comes, guilt hits. You've broken the rules. And that's when the what the heck effect kicks in. You think, well, I've already blown it. Might as well order a pizza. And the whole system just implodes. The other huge flaw is that we build these budgets for a fantasy version of ourselves. You might optimistically tell yourself you'll only spend $400 a month on groceries, but if your bank account consistently shows you're spending $600, your budget isn't realistic. It's a daydream. We budget for the person we were, the hyper-organized superhero who never gets tempted. We look at our past spending, see that $600 grocery bill, and instead of accepting it as data, we judge it. But that aspirational number doesn't account for your turn to host book club. When real life clashes with the fantasy, you just feel inadequate. It also doesn't plan for the irregular but totally predictable expenses, like birthday gifts, holiday travel, or that annual Amazon Prime renewal that pops up and throws your whole month into chaos. These are the budget assassins. We know they're coming. Things like car registration, annual subscriptions, or holiday presents. They aren't emergencies. An emergency is a surprise. These are predictable, non-monthly expenses. A traditional budget ignores them, so when they arrive, they feel like a crisis. This is not a personal failing. It's a system failing. Let me say that again. You are not bad with money. because a rigid, unrealistic plan didn't work for you. This is the most important point. We've been told that if a budget fails, it's our fault. We lack discipline. This creates a vicious cycle of shame. You try, it fails, you feel guilty, and you decide you're just bad with money. It's time to break that cycle. The problem isn't your willpower, it's the tool. The plan was bad for you. The key to taking back control isn't more guilt or more restriction, it's a totally different mindset. We're going to shift from restriction to intention. An intentional budget doesn't ask, "What can I cut?" It asks, "What do I want my money to accomplish for me?" It's about directing your resources towards your values, creating a plan that serves you, not a plan that you have to serve. It's about building a budget that's flexible, intentional, and designed for your real life. After years of feeling like I was failing with every budget under the sun, the envelope system, the 50-30-20 rule, you name it, I was ready to give up. I felt like my money was controlling me, not the other way around. Then, I stumbled on an idea that completely changed my relationship with money. Zero-based budgeting. Now, I know what you're thinking. The name sounds intense, maybe even a little scary, like you're supposed to have nothing left. But stick with me, because the concept is incredibly simple and, honestly, liberating. The zero in zero-based budgeting doesn't mean you have $0 in your bank account. Far from it. It simply means that your income minus your expenses equals zero. Every single dollar that comes in is given a specific purpose, a job to do, before the month even begins. It's a plan for your money, not just a record of where it went. I want you to start thinking of yourself as the CEO of your own personal economy. On the first of the month, or whenever you get paid, all of your income reports for duty. It's like your company's total revenue for the period. As CEO, it's your job to hold a board meeting with yourself and decide how to allocate those resources. You are the one who gives every single dollar a specific assignment. This group of dollars is assigned to the housing department. That's your rent or mortgage. This next batch goes to the operations department, your utilities and groceries. You'll send some to long-term growth, which is your savings and investments, and another team to debt restructuring to pay down loans. And this is absolutely crucial for the health of your company. You must allocate a budget to the employee morale department. That's your fun money. It's not an afterthought. It's a planned, essential expense. Now, let's bust a few myths right off the bat, because I hear them all the time. The first myth is that zero-based budgeting is too rigid and time-consuming. And yes, the first month takes a little bit of setup. You have to figure out your categories and get a handle on your numbers. But once you have your template, each following month is just a matter of adjusting and refining, which takes maybe 30 minutes. The second myth is that it kills all spontaneity. People think, if every dollar has a job, I can't just decide to go out for dinner with friends. But that's not true. You can and should have a category for spontaneous fun or restaurants. You're just planning to be spontaneous. You're giving yourself permission to spend that money guilt-free because it was part of the plan all along. This proactive approach is where the real magic happens. Most traditional budgets are reactive. They're like financial autopsies. You look back at the end of the month and see where your money died. It's a log of what you've already spent, often accompanied by a sense of regret or confusion. A zero-based budget, on the other hand, is a forward-looking plan. It's a blueprint for your financial future, 1 month at a time. This shifts the entire mindset from restriction to intention. You're not telling yourself no. You're telling your money yes to this goal, yes to that priority. You decide what matters most to you, and you align your spending with those values. That feeling of mystery money, that $100 that just seems to evaporate from your account each month, it disappears. Why? Because you've already made a conscious, deliberate choice about where every last cent is going. For me, this was the ultimate light bulb moment. My old budgets failed because they were static and passive. I'd set them up in January and then feel like a failure by March because life had changed, but my budget hadn't. I was just reacting to my spending, constantly feeling behind. Zero-based budgeting forced me to be proactive. It made me sit down and have an honest conversation with myself every single month. It's a monthly check-in that asks, what's actually important month? Is my priority to aggressively save for that vacation to Italy, or do I need a bigger restaurant budget because I know it's going to be a crazy month at work and I'll be ordering more takeout? Maybe this month I need to set aside more for a friend's wedding gift. By starting from scratch, or from your template, every month your budget becomes a living, breathing tool that adapts you. It's not a rigid cage you're desperate to escape, it's a flexible roadmap that guides you toward your goals, no matter how much the scenery changes along the way. Section 3. How to build your first zero-based budget, the tutorial. Alright, let's get into the nuts and bolts. Are you ready to finally ditch the financial stress, stop wondering where your money went, and build a plan that actually works for you, not against you? I promise, this is easier than you think. I'm going to walk you through 5 simple, actionable steps to create your very first zero-based budget. First, you'll need a tool. You can go old school with a simple notebook and a pen. There's real power in physically writing things down. You could use a digital spreadsheet, which is my personal favorite for its flexibility. Or you can use a dedicated budgeting app, which can automate a lot of the process for you. Honestly, the tool doesn't matter nearly as much as the process itself. The goal is to start, not to find the perfect, magical tool. For this walkthrough, we'll be using a simple spreadsheet model, but you can apply these exact same principles anywhere. To make this real, we're going to build a sample budget together. Let's pretend our total monthly take-home pay is $4,000. Write that number at the very top of your page. This is our starting line. Step 1. Tally up your monthly income. First things first, we need to know exactly what we're working with. This is the total amount of money you have to budget for the month. Start with your primary source of income. This isn't your gross pay. It's your net pay or take-home pay, the actual amount that hits your bank account after taxes, health insurance, and retirement contributions are taken out. If you have a consistent salary, this is easy. Just look at your last pay stub. Next, add in any other income you expect to receive. This is where you list everything. Do you have a side hustle like driving for a rideshare, freelance writing, or selling products online? Add that in. Do you receive child support, disability payments, or income from a rental property? Count it. Every single dollar that comes in needs to be accounted for. Now, if your income changes from month to month because you're a freelancer or work on commission, don't sweat it. The key is to be conservative. Look at what you earned over the last 3 to 6 months and use the lowest month's income as your baseline for the budget. Why the lowest? Because it's much easier to budget for extra money that comes in than it is to deal with a shortfall when you've budgeted for money that never arrived. Any extra you make is a bonus you can assign a job to later. For our example, we've already established our total income is $4,000. That's the number we'll work with. Step 2. List every single expense. Okay, now that we know what's coming in, it's time to figure out what's going out. And I mean everything. For this step, you need to become a financial detective. Your mission is to uncover the truth about your spending habits. Open up your bank and credit card statements from the last 2 to 3 months. Don't just look at 1 month. That might be an anomaly. We want an average, a realistic picture of your financial life. The goal here is accuracy, not perfection, and definitely not shame. This is a judgment-free zone. We're just gathering data. We'll break your expenses into 3 types. First, let's list your fixed expenses. These are the bills that are pretty much the same amount on the same day every month. They're the easiest to plan for. This includes your rent or mortgage payment, a car payment, student loans, life or auto insurance premiums, your cell phone bill, and your internet bill. It also includes fixed subscriptions like your gym membership or streaming services. Go through your statements and list them all out, along with their costs. In our $4,000 budget example, let's say our rent is $2,500 and our car payment is $300. We'll put those in right away. Next, let's tackle your variable expenses. These are the costs that change from month to month and are often the ones that wreck traditional budgets. This category includes things like groceries, gasoline, electricity and water bills, dining out, and entertainment. For these, you'll need to look at your past spending to come up with a realistic starting number. Don't just guess or put down what you spent. Look at the data. What did you actually spend on groceries over the last 3 months? Add it up and divide by 3 to get a monthly average. And don't just write groceries. Be specific. Does that include household items like paper towels and soap? Does it include your daily coffee run? Maybe you need separate categories for groceries, household supplies, and coffee. The more detailed you are at the beginning, the more control you'll have. Remember, the goal here is honesty and accuracy. No one is grading you. Finally, and this is the absolute secret weapon to making your budget bulletproof, you have to plan for the non-monthly expenses. I call these the budget assassins because they show up unexpectedly and blow a hole in your financial plan. Think about it. Annual subscriptions like Amazon Prime, car registration, holiday and birthday gifts, that auto insurance bill you pay every 6 months, or even routine car maintenance like new tires. In a traditional budget, these are emergencies. In a zero-based budget, they are planned expenses. We're going to neutralize them with a powerful tool called sinking funds. A sinking fund is simply a way to save for a specific large expense by putting aside a small amount of money each month. Here's how it works. If you know Christmas costs you about $600 in gifts and travel, you divide that by 12. That's $50 a month you need to set aside. When December rolls around, the $600 is already there, sitting in an account, waiting for you. No stress, no credit card debt. Your car registration is $180 a year? That's $15 a month. You want to take a $200 vacation next year? That's $100 a month. You create a mini savings goal for each one and fund it every single month. This single habit will transform you from being reactive to proactive with your money. Step 3. Give every dollar a job. This is where the magic happens. This is the zero-based part of zero-based budgeting. You have your total income at the top, our $4,000, and your long list of expenses below. The goal is to assign every single one of those dollars to a specific category until your income minus your expenses equals a big fat zero. This ensures you're making a conscious plan for all of your money. So, where do you start? You prioritize. First, cover your 4 walls. These are the absolute essentials for survival: food, utilities, shelter, and transportation. Let's fill those in for our example budget. We already listed our rent at $1,500. Let's budget $500 for groceries, $200 for utilities like electricity and water, and $300 for transportation, covering gas and insurance. That's a total of $2,500. Our spreadsheet now shows we have $1,500 left to assign. Once your core needs are covered, you move on to your other financial priorities. This includes any minimum debt payments, giving, and crucially, your savings goals. You must treat your savings goal like a bill you have to pay to your future self. It is non-negotiable. Let's say we have a credit card with a $50 minimum payment. We'll assign that. We also want to be aggressive with our savings, so we'll allocate $300 to our emergency fund and another $150 total for our sinking funds. That's the money for Christmas, car repairs, and that vacation. After funding those goals, we now have $1,000 left. After all your needs and financial goals are funded, you get to the fun part, your wants. This is your lifestyle spending. Restaurants, hobbies, entertainment, new shoes, whatever brings you joy. You decide how much you want to set aside for these things based on what's left. Let's allocate $200 for restaurants and takeout, $100 for entertainment like movies or concerts, and $150 for personal spending. That's guilt-free money you can spend on anything without tracking. Now we have $550 left. You're not done. That extra money needs a job too. This is your power money. You can use it to accelerate your goals. Let's throw an extra $350 at that high-interest credit card to pay it off faster, and we'll put the final $200 into our emergency fund to reach our goals sooner. Now let's check the math. $4,000 of income minus $4,000 of planned spending equals zero. Every single dollar has a purpose. Step 4. Track your spending like a hawk. A budget is a beautiful plan, but it's just a plan. It's a piece of paper or a file on your computer. It's completely useless if you don't actually follow it. This next step is where the rubber meets the road, and it's the one that separates successful budgeters from those who give up. You have to track your spending. This means that every time you buy something, every coffee, every tank of gas, every online order, you log it and subtract it from its assigned category. Let's say you budgeted $50 for coffee. You buy a latte for $5. You immediately pull out your phone or open your notebook and subtract that $5. You now know you have $45 left in your coffee budget for the rest of the month. This isn't about punishment, it's about awareness. It creates a real-time feedback loop that keeps you connected to your financial plan. The method doesn't matter, but building the habit is everything. Some people do it right after each purchase. Others set aside 5 minutes every evening to review their receipts and update their budget. Find a rhythm that works for you. This daily or weekly check-in is what keeps you aware, in control, and empowered to make smart choices. Step 5. Adjust and do it all again. Next month, let me tell you a secret. Your first budget will not be perfect. In fact, it will probably be wrong. You will absolutely forget a category. You'll wildly underestimate how much you spend on groceries and overestimate how much you need for entertainment. This is not failure. It is crucial feedback. A budget is not a rigid cage. It's a flexible roadmap. When you overspend in one category, you have to cover that overspending. The money has to come from somewhere. Let's say you had an unexpected car repair that cost $200, but you only had $50 in your car maintenance sinking fund so far. You're $150 short. You look at your budget and see where you have a surplus. Maybe you decide to cancel a weekend trip you had planned and pull the money from your entertainment and restaurant funds. That's not a failure. That's you acting as the chief financial officer of your own life. You are actively managing your money and telling it what to do, even when things don't go according to plan. And the best part? You get a clean slate every single month. A zero-based budget isn't a one-and-done set-it-and-forget-it deal. It's a monthly ritual. At the end of the month, you look back. What worked? What didn't? Did you consistently overspend in one area? Then maybe you need to budget more for it next month. Did you have a huge surplus in another? Maybe you can reallocate that money to pay off debt faster. Every month is a fresh start. A new opportunity to refine your plan and get one step closer to your financial goals. This process, this monthly rhythm, is how you build lasting financial peace. Section 4. Common pitfalls and how to sidestep them. As you start out, you're going to run into a few common hurdles, but don't worry, I've got your back. First, you're going to feel like it takes a lot of time in the beginning, because it does. This method is hands-on, but that's the whole point. The time you put in up front is what buys you the clarity and control you've been missing. Trust me, it gets way faster. After a couple of months, you'll know your numbers by heart, and this whole process will take you 20 minutes. Second, don't be a drill sergeant. If you create a budget with zero room for fun, you're creating a budget that's designed to be broken. It is essential to budget for things that bring you joy, whether that's a fancy coffee, a night out, or your hobbies. A budget's job isn't to strip the fun from your life. It's to make sure you can afford it without feeling guilty. Finally, prepare for the unexpected by creating an oops fund. I highly recommend adding a small miscellaneous category to your budget. maybe just $50 or $100. This is your get-out-of-jail-free card for all the little things you just can't plan for. It acts as a buffer that keeps one small surprise from derailing your entire month. For so long, we've been told that budgeting is about saying no. But a zero-based budget is about learning to say yes with total confidence. Yes to paying off your debt. Yes to that vacation. Yes to dinner with friends, because you know the money is right there, set aside for exactly that purpose. You're taking back control, not by punishing yourself, but by being powerfully intentional. You're giving yourself a plan that brings peace of mind and frees you from the anxiety that so often wraps itself around money. You can absolutely do this. The power to change your financial life is already in your hands. This method is just the tool that will finally let you use it. If this video helped you, subscribing to the channel would mean the world to me. It lets me keep making content just like this to help more people. And now, I want to hear from you. What's the one expense category that always seems to sabotage your budget? Drop it in the comments below. Let's share and learn from each other. Thanks for watching, and here's to making a budget that finally works for you.